Craig, what is a technology addiction?
Technology addiction, my goodness gracious, that's the one that's all the rage. It means that somebody wants to stop using their technology in the way that they're using it, but they can't, right? It's defined by how much agency and control do you have over your decision making. And when someone lacks that agency and control, they might not be addicted. It might just be a bad habit. It might be a distraction. But the way I think about things, all reactions exist on this spectrum. So from a distraction, oh, check my email, look at social media, to a bad habit, it's starting to impact my life, to an addiction. So it's all on the same spectrum. The degree of harm is what decides what category it's in, if that makes sense.
And from again my understanding, it's we are there's been addictions for years, but what's the best way to say it? How how new is this addiction, this new technology addiction, if you could say it, because the internet just has like what, 20 years?
Yeah, yeah. And what's happening now is it's actually getting worse because of AI. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So um, the technology, and we know from the recent social media trials that have been in the news, they designed these platforms to addict us. Like they knew. They just got hit for a multi-million-dollar verdict. And I think that's the domino that fell, just like big tobacco. Big tobacco had that one lawsuit. They hit them big, and then all the dominoes started falling. I believe that's what's happening in social media. So you've got companies collectively worth trillions of dollars who are pouring billions of dollars into capturing your attention. And they do it very, very, very well. Very, very well. Now it's capturing your affection with AI. So you've got a double whammy that is sucking the life. And people here, like, who's addicted to AI? Listen, I've been doing this 14 years. Senior executives, doctors, lawyers, professionals, good men. I work mostly with men, but and their partners too, right, are now addicted to AI. And some of them, it gets so bad, they lose their mind. Psychosis, AI psychosis has been in the news recently too, because when you have this machine that knows everything about you, every vulnerability, every medical condition, every aspect of your being, and it tells you what you want to hear, it's very validating for someone who's lonely, hungry, depressed, anxious, already addicted. So we're kind of in this like a tsunami. The way I think about it, we're in a tsunami now because we humans are not wired for this. We are not wired for this, but we need it for business. We need it to communicate. In your generation, brother, I'm scared. I am scared. Out of like a deep compassion and love and worry, because my younger clients, and I talked to my a local concierge doctor, the attention span, the impact on your self-esteem, the impact on your reward system. Anyway, massively impactful. I am worried for the future of everybody.
Okay, so not so fancy or not so rainbow colors is the future with all this AI craze, but how can we actually start working through it? Like, what is a solution? Because
No,
it's not stopping.
no.
It's becoming more and more involved, and we are making ourselves dependent upon these things.
Yes. Yes. Responsible use, proactive, timed. Is it bringing me value? And let me just challenge your listeners who are saying to themselves right now, I dialed in my algorithm. I'm only getting, a good feed from good people who are motivating me, inspiring me, or instructing me. Here's my question for you. What have you operationalized? What have you taken from social media that you have actually brought into your life as a principle, brought it to life, and used it? The answer is none of them for most people. Most people answer this question, well, I think I'm smarter, and that's why it's so dangerous, because it creates the illusion that you've actually accomplished something. Because I'm listening to Tony Robbins and this coach and this behavioral expert and this mentalist and this guy, like, you think you're getting value, you're not. So number one, I think that short form media is dangerous. I literally think that the short form, endless scroll media is dangerous. Stay away from it. Now, if you are using it and there is someone you like to follow, honor your time, respect your time, and take notes. When you're working with a coach, when you're working with a therapist, when you're working with social media, if you're not writing it down, it ain't getting done. It ain't getting done. I have my phone on grayscale mode. None of my apps are where I think I can find them. I have to search for each of my apps every time I go into my phone. You'll see on my phone, grayscale, really, really boring. I open it up. I've got a few apps at the bottom, but I have to search for my apps, and I want to create friction. I want to create as much friction as I can. So my cell phone is always off my body. I never want it near me. I don't want it on my body, because I was finding myself getting the phantom buzzes. Right? You've experienced it, buzz. Oh, wait, oh, that wasn't anything. Or every time you're in a conversation, you feel that subtle buzz of the watch, or you hear that subtle buzz of the phone. Distractions, brother, I am telling you, forget about addictions, right? Distractions. It takes, for every the average executive and leader gets distracted 23 times per day. It's more than that, but especially if you're banged up like my clients, but 23 times per day. A UC Irvine did a study, and they calculated the cost of that one distraction. One distraction cost 25 minutes of focused, present, I'm on, I'm crushing it, I'm in my power energy. 25 minutes. So what that means is that most of us are not in our power most of the time, because we've lost the ability to pay attention and to focus because of these phones. The lower the screen time, the better the mental health outcomes. The higher the screen time for children, check this out. Just think about this metric for a second. The earlier the child is exposed to this, the higher rate of suicide. The earlier the child is exposed to this, the higher rate of suicide. There's a reason why these companies are losing these lawsuits now, right? We know they designed them this way. And so it's dangerous. It's bad for us. It's like smoking. And now look what we know about vaping. We thought vaping was gonna cure everybody, wasn't bad for you. Well, you're sucking in formaldehyde and it's making it worse for you. People are getting really, really sick. People are starting to wake up to the damage that these devices are doing. So you have to be in your power. You have to address the deeper underlying issues that are driving you to numb, cope, and escape, right? There's a reason why people are numbing, coping, and escaping with their phones, because they can't tolerate discomfort. The phone is a solution. Now, it's not working anymore, but you understand that? The phone, the addiction to the phone is the solution. Because if I'm addicted to my phone, I don't have to experience the pain and discomfort and anxiety and stress that I'm under. This takes me away. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. But it's the shitty kind of dopamine. It's the dopamine that raises your baseline, that makes it more difficult, that just completely screws up your reward system. You see what I mean? So I can give you 1,000 tips. Take it away from your body, grayscale. There's some great apps out there. Some people lock them up. All of those things are good, but those are symptom-centric approaches.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the deeper underlying dysregulation issues that are driving the poor coping strategies in the first place.
I'm going to take a second to take all of that in.
That's a lot. I know.
Yeah, and it's a vicious cycle in a way because using these devices create more of those deeper issues, and you want more of those devices. So let's just go back into addictions in general. Like addictions, there's a phrase of addiction is I cannot say, like addiction, meaning like you cannot cope again with what you're feeling, or you cannot articulate what you're feeling. So could you explain what is an addiction?
Yeah. Addiction, and I like to define it a little bit differently than people typically do, because when people tend to think of addiction, it's bad, it's a disease. There's a whole disease philosophy. The addiction is the solution, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, both of which I've been addicted to, whether it's my cell phone, whether it's porn, right? Those are all solutions that have gone awry. Those are numbing, coping, and escaping strategies that I turn to because they're helping me feel better. Now, long term, it's a disaster and it makes people worse and worse. And you're right, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy and it is a downward spiral. But the behavior is meeting a need. So here's one of my quotes that I love. All behavior is need-seeking behavior. So as terrible as the alcohol is, as terrible as the phone might be, or the porn for someone in a marriage who can't get it up for his wife, as terrible as it is, it's meeting a need. And the golden rule of behavior modification started in Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit, advanced by James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, is this: to break a habit, you have to make the right habits that meet the right needs.
Hmm.
And so that underlying trauma, that underlying dysregulation, that underlying loneliness, the underlying lack of accountability, the underlying lack of purpose, all of those things must be addressed, because you have to address those things in order to be able to sit in the discomfort of being a human being. And sometimes, and you know, my dad just died, right? Thank God I had the tools, brother, because as I was sitting there, my dad dies, and I remember like being hopeless, and like my dad has a soccer field named after him. He had a row of cars. They shut down the major highway in Rhode Island as they brought my dad's ashes from the funeral home. Like, no one's naming a field after me. I'm a pathetic piece of shit. I'll never honor that legacy. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I remember thinking to myself, oh, this is when I would have acted out. This is when I would have turned to alcohol, turned to drugs, turned to women, turned to porn. This is what it feels like. Oh, okay. All right. I got the reps in. I knew to call somebody. I knew to connect with friends. I knew to breathe. But life is hard, man. And there's so much stressors out there that are sucking the life out of people. And I get it. You know, we all want to feel good. We are threat detecting, pain avoiding, pleasure seeking habit machines. And all these addictions are solutions. They're our way of feeling better in a body that doesn't feel good. We are in pain. As a society, as an individual, there's a lot to be upset about, man.
And at the same time, yes, we cannot hide that pain, but at the same time, we need the other, would I say, perspective or hope and faith for the world so we can keep going. Because we have all the reasons to stop.
Yes. Yes. And you're absolutely right. So there's a lot of research on future self and the value of future self. So basically, the people who have a clearer and vivid, in writing, understanding of their future self, who they want to be, the better decisions that person makes, right? Just the better decision the more agency and control that person has, the more autonomy they're able to exercise in their life. And so what you just said is so important. Hope. Hope, hope, hope. Without it, and listen, your generation, my daughter's 20 years old, my son's 23, they read the news, climate change, wars, they see the unsustainability of it all. And the more you know, the more hopeless you become. And what I tell people, man, is there hope in your community? Is there hope in and there is hope is there hope in your faith? Is there hope in the connections that you have with other people? Right? Because they whoever they are, right? They want us addicted. Right? This is like revolution time, man, to take our power back and not be a slave to the way other people think society should be run and keeping us stuck in these terrible patterns. But what you said about hope is so important. The more I learn about future self, purpose, and why, the more important it becomes for my clients. And I've been doing this 14 years. And so I have seen, like I knew it was important, but the more I learn about myself, the more hopeless I become sometimes with all the things you see out there, the more important it is to find that light, find that shred of hope, and hold on to it and move towards it and turn to it when you're in your darkest moments.
Mm-hmm.
Very
And
important.
you're doing heavy duty work, because on one side, you're doing and dealing with your own shit, but now you're holding space for other people. So how did that start?
Yeah. Well, how did I start being a coach? Oh my gosh. So within 18 months, I had been fired from $2 billion companies as an executive and an attorney. So I had a legal executive role at both of these companies. I was addicted to alcohol, drugs, heroin, synthetic chemicals, cigarettes, sex, porn. And all my life, I was able to hold it together. I was so miserable in my last job. There was a part of me that wanted to burn everything down and did. I ended up getting fired from that second job. I tried to hurt myself. I was hospitalized for 3 days. And I remember walking out of that inpatient facility. I said to myself, I am never coming back to this place. I don't care if I have to dedicate the rest of my life to self-help. I don't care if I'm broke. I don't care, but I am never coming back to this place. And I knew I had to do something different, because all my life I did 12-step meetings, which are incredibly helpful for some people. So I give that so much grace. This isn't a criticism of that. There were aspects of it that weren't for me, because there's some trauma in my childhood. Every time I go see a new therapist, they crack their knuckles and rub their hands together, and we're going to take this guy even deeper into his trauma, because if he goes deeper into his trauma, it's going to unlock, and he's going to have that emotional catharsis, and everything's going to be okay. I did that for 20 plus years. And I knew this time it had to be different. So I found a therapist coach who focused on tools, who was into mindfulness, who did not subscribe to the disease-based model. And to make a long story short, 15 plus years ago, he hired me, and I've been working with thousands of clients, 30 years. I mean, in 30 countries over the past 14 years. But that's how it started, man. It started at my absolute low point, finding that shred of hope that, wait a minute, I've got an idea. I had this idea in my head that I could build a better mousetrap, a better system to help people out of this dark place that I was in. And, and here I am 15 years later, Steve Harvey Show, Katie Couric, Lifetime, clients all over the world. Just, it's been an incredible blessing, man. But it started at that low point, realizing that I needed to do something different.
Boom. And tell me, in these 14, 15 years, how has this methodology evolved?
Yeah. So one of the best things that my therapist did for me was introduce me to the concept of parts work. And parts work, an example of parts work for your listeners, is the internal family systems model. So if you Google IFS or internal family systems model, or if you watch the Pixar movie Inside Out, that movie, those different characters in that movie represent different parts of that teenage girl's the star of the movie, her personality.
Mhm.
And so the biggest shift for me was learning that the addict part of me that would take over whenever I got hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed, anxious, depressed, hopeless, is trying to help. I want to say
Mm.
that again. The addict part is trying to help. And what I had been doing for 20 years was trying to kill that part. In 12 steps ideology, that part is a disease. And what do you do with disease? You kill disease. I was fighting that part. And then one of the most powerful lessons that I ever learned is that you will always lose in a fight against yourself. You will always lose in a fight against yourself. So I wanted that part to die. I wanted to kill that part. I hated that part. Now I know exactly where it came from. Poor addict part was groomed by a priest when he was an altar boy. Sex was dirty and disgusting and something shameful, but it was how little me had pleasure. It's how little me had autonomy in my life. It's how little me was able to escape and feel good with something that was mine, talking about porn. Right? So that addict part was trying to help back then, was trying to help me escape the discomfort and the pain and fear of being a boy who had a lot of confusion around sexuality because a priest, anyway, we don't have to get into all that, but some fucked up things happened to me as a kid. And so this part that I hated and was trying to kill was trying to help. That voice that called me a piece of shit when I got fired driving home and said, hey, I'm going to end it, right? Craig, you should end it. You're a piece of shit. Put everyone out of their misery. That same critical voice is trying to help, is trying to protect me from pain. And so that was the biggest shift for me. The biggest shift for me, that these parts that I hated and tried to kill are actually trying to help. There are no bad parts. They all have good intentions. And that changed everything for me.
And I imagine that it also changed for your clients
Tremendously.
because
Tremendously.
you like it's a relief when someone hears, hey, you're not broken. Like that part of you, it's not wrong.
Right. Right. And then they're like, wait a minute. Like, and then they'll come up with an example and can we talk about anything here? Just to get real for a second. When I say all behaviors need seeking behavior, what happens sometimes is clients will say, wait a minute. Okay, I had a part of me that was, I'm driving on the road, I'm feeling like a piece of shit and like wishing I'd get hit by a car or wishing I get struck by lightning. We call that the suicidal ideation part. Right? And most people listening at one point in their lives wish they were dead. How can that be good? How can that be trying to meet a need? How can that part have good intentions? Brother, what that part wants for you is to eliminate the pain. Eliminate the pain that you have inside you and eliminate the pain that you're causing to everybody in your life. So even that part, as damaging and destructive, and the damage it does, is trying to meet a need. They're all trying to meet needs. Needs get met reactively or they get met proactively. That was another big shift for me.
And how let's put a point on that. What's a way to meet your need proactively?
Yeah, good question. So there's the basics, right? Being in community, having accountability, and rigorous self-care. Right? Those are the basics. It gets a little more deeper, so to speak, when you really understand what these parts are trying, the needs that these parts are trying to meet. So one of the exercises that I do with clients is they talk to their parts. They bring some structure to that back and forth, brutal conversation that they're already having in their heads. And by talking to these parts, you learn that, for example, like they need safety. They They need to feel that safety, and they have to train their bodies to be able to let go of that tension, let go of that anxiety. And safety is like my favorite word, because safety means that you are okay. You are not dysregulated. So meditation is critical. Mindfulness is critical. And just, everything that I said are all important pieces of the puzzle to help you be proactive, to meet those needs proactively.
And then the reactive ones are addictions and basically everything that we were talking.
Correct. Getting defensive, shutting down. The reactive ones are any behaviors rooted in fear. So fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, which is people pleasing.
Yeah. What percentage of your clients have multiple of these like mechanisms besides the addiction part? Is there a
You mean
pattern?
like multiple bad habits, multiple addictions?
Multiple addictions? Not so much on that, but like the fight, freeze, like the way that they
Oh, 100%. 100%. Right? They are in amygdala. Amygdala is at the base of the brain. That's where fear is. Again, we are threat detecting, pain avoiding, pleasure seeking, habit machines. Our brain is designed for one primary thing, and that is survival, not happiness.
Okay.
And so all of them are getting defensive with their partners, getting defensive with their business partners. They're all in either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's 100%. Because if they weren't, they wouldn't need this coping strategy to escape from it. It's the cycle, right? That's what's driving the need to escape. That dysregulation is what's driving that need to escape from it.
Okay. So first is the amygdala. They do their normal pattern and then they go for the solution, which is the addiction. That's
Correct.
more cycle. I see. Okay.
Yep. My wife, hey, Craig, did you finish the project? First, Jesus Christ, I'm so busy. And listen, this is her job, right? To make sure projects get done. I get defensive. My body goes into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And then I want to escape from that discomfort using my drug of choice.
Okay.
And that's the cycle.
Is there any addiction a healthy addiction?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, there are limits, but what I like to say is, because I just got that gene, man. When you look at my addiction profile and you see, wait, it was stimulants, heroin, alcohol, cigarettes, work, anger is also a dopamine addiction. Work is like, I check almost every box. So I like to say the cure is the aggressive pursuit of a great life. And that's being addicted to community, to helping people, to taking great care of yourself, making that your life's mission. The more banged up you are, the better you got to take care of yourself. I don't make the rules. That's just how it needs to be. That you have to do this in order to not do that. So I think that there are healthy addictions. Now, I pause only for people can get addicted to exercise, and that causes harm to their bodies. They're actually self-harming. People can be addicted to eating healthy, and they're miserable, counting macros, counting calories, weighing food, and they're not experiencing joy. But if you're experiencing joy and you're healthier and happier because of these rules you set for yourself, great. But when it starts causing harm, you're stuck in the same pattern. It's just a different end of, like, you don't want to be fat, but now you're addicted to being skinny, and it's causing just as much pain and discomfort in your life because you haven't addressed the deeper underlying issues.
And when you have your clients, you start working with a coach. What made you have the confidence to move from, okay, I work with him, now I work by myself for myself?
Yeah, it was, I'll never forget my therapist boss who hired me. He said, hey, I want you to work with this guy. Now, this guy's been doing this work for over 17 years. Now it's over 25, almost 30. And he says, I need you to work with this guy. I can't crack him. I can't get anywhere. I've been talking to him for years, but he's just kind of stuck and really keeps stumbling. And I was with him for 2 hours. For 2 hours, and he's in tears, and he opened his heart open like it had never opened before. And I realized that I had a special gift. And that gift kept getting reinforced and reinforced with clients after client after client. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, like, I'm fucking great at this shit. I am really, really great at this shit. And we had 2 captains, 2 chefs in the kitchen. And my wife and I decided that a year into that relationship, because listen, don't go into business with your therapist, right? There's a power dynamic that contracts cannot overcome. He's the star of the show, right? Like, he wanted to be the star. Every time I shined, he'd get angry. And it was just a shit show. Like, we knew we couldn't stay. So that was the moment when I just knew I had something special to give. I knew I worked with clients who had come to me from treatment programs, outpatient programs, inpatient programs, and they couldn't get results, and they did with me, and that, you know, made me feel really, really special and blessed that I get to use my brokenness and my messed upness to help other people. So yeah, we worked a year with them, and now 13 plus years as the Mindful Habit.
Awesome. And you said something around your wife. You mentioned your wife a lot. So how important has it been for your coaching business to have the support and yeah, presence from your wife there?
Yeah, there would be no coaching business without my wife. I'd be in a strip mall or doing, you know, hourly work, $100 here, $100 there. I would be nothing without my wife. She runs the operation, and as we've grown, it's just not, listen, I was the executive, I was the attorney who worked for big companies. This is what I like to do. And I love coaching. It is my passion. Running the business, the operation, the customer support. I help with the marketing, but she put the workbook together. She put the online program together. She puts the retreats together. There'd be no Mindful Habit if it wasn't for my wife. She's a co-owner and co-founder with me, so she's not just some admin. She founded the company with me, and we'd be nothing without her.
Yeah. And it's 13 years, right? There's a lot of coaches who expect to have that giant business on year 1 or month 1. So what could you share with them to give them a taste of reality?
Yeah, it's there are a lot of people out there teaching coaches how to market and get their best customers. You as a coach must be obsessed with fulfillment. It is your job to make sure that you are doing the right job, the right by people, and supporting them long term, and doing everything to the best of your ability to the highest ethical standard. Which is why we have a money return policy. If it's not a fit, man, you get your money back. Like I've been doing that for 14 years now. So it takes time. It takes time. And people think that, oh, listen, you see the ads on Facebook. If you're in the coaching space, you see them, right? Most people do not get those results. Or if you did, you would see a wall full of people saying, yes, I tripled my income and my clients are happy. Right? It doesn't work like that. Honor the craft. Always try to improve, get better and better, but for those of you who don't know, fulfillment is the delivery of the coaching services. When you see all those advertisements, that's on the marketing side. That's on the front end. You have to be excellent if you want to stay in business long term. And how many people do you see? Have you seen with these big ad campaigns and you think there's something special, and a year later, they're offering another program that has nothing to do with coaching? Because they got the offer, they don't have the fulfillment. Be obsessed with the fulfillment. It's people's lives, man. If people are trusting you with their money, their time, and honor that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Slow
100%.
and steady. Slow and steady.
And you said something right now about you have your programs, your workbooks, your retreats. When did you do more of that jump? Because there's one thing to, hey, I have a conversation solo. When did you evolve to holding bigger groups?
Yeah, as we grew. So, well, two things. As we grew and I learned, because one-on-one, I'm the master. I can move someone from here to there really fast. Okay, I am skilled, but that doesn't drive long-term sustainable results. Those oohs and those ah moments, right? They're great and all, and you love to have them as a coach, but they don't drive long-term results. What drives long-term results with people is community and accountability, right? Like, so one, it became me realizing, oh shit, I'm not serving these people as well as I could be because I didn't have a group program. Even when I first started the group, it was a secondary program. Now, for my one-on-one clients, they might not know it when they start with me, but it's mandatory. And if you're not going to do it, you got to find that community in your town. And if you don't find it, then you build it. Walk over to your neighbor and say, hey, let's talk on Friday and hold each other accountable for the great life that we want to live. You need it. It's mandatory. So and the other thing too, as we developed the group, the way I wanted to grow, or the way that I wanted to develop a training, because I was sick and tired of going to a coach or a therapist and say, how long is this going to take? What results can I expect? And the answer be, I don't know. It depends on you. I was like, because being an executive, right, that answer is unsatisfactory. Right? As a leader, and I talk to a direct report and saying, hey, we've got this training that we're doing for these people to teach them how to do A, B, C, and D, control themselves. How long is it going to take? And what results are we going to get? I don't know is an unacceptable answer. So I came from that background in training. It was my job to train a multi-thousand nationwide organization on compliance. So I had PhDs on my team. I learned about learning objectives, developmental milestones, metrics. And so I built a training. That's what the mindful habit is. It's at its core, it's a training. And then the workbook naturally followed, the videos naturally followed. So they were necessary to deliver the best training possible, was to have that workbook. And so it was need that drove it, my learning, and then client demand.
Where's the balance between hearing what your client says, but also you, as Steve Jobs would say, like developing the taste, or really showing them or giving them what they actually need versus what they want?
Yeah. So I told you we have that money return policy because I'm in the Steve Jobs camp. Like, this is what I do, right? This is the mindful habit. Here's where we start. Here's where we end. And these is what typically happens. So during that first 30-day trial period, I'm like, is it working? Do you want your money back? Are you seeing that you're approaching things differently? Does this make sense to you? Is it really landing? Like, I lean into that money return policy because different people respond to different things. Right? Don't let anyone tell you their way is the right way. If anyone tells you their way is the right way for you dealing with an emotional addiction, a psychological challenge, physical challenge, just like that repels me. Right? My way isn't the right way for everybody. So what I've done is I've stick to my guns. Here's what we deliver. Here's how we deliver it. Group one-on-one webinar. And here's the value that you should expect, because here's what other people got in the past. This is what you're looking out for in the first 30 days. If you're not getting it, you better be speaking up so we can figure out what's wrong. So yes, I meet clients where they are. And it is a very structured system, and we measure progress by the results that they're getting within that system. And it's not for everybody. That's why we have that 30-day policy. It's one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah. And in that way, you really by being really honest on the front load, you actually get people or stay with people that actually will get the result.
That's right. I attract my avatar. Like I attract, because here's the other thing that I learned. Okay, no matter the modality, the single greatest predictor of results in a coaching or therapeutic relationship is the relationship that you have with the provider. It's called the therapeutic alliance. The single greatest predictor. I know that. I'm leveraging that in my marketing. I am repelling people as much as I am attracting. And I want to repel, not because I'm mean, because I want to make sure I attract the right people into my orbit. They're like, oh, this guy's pretty fucked up. I think I can be honest with him. Or he's an executive and I'm an executive. He's an attorney and I'm an attorney. And, you know, like oh, he's addicted to this. I was addicted to that. So it's able to create a deeper level of vulnerability by me leaning on that reality. Because if it is true, which the studies suggest it's certainly one of the top predictors of results, when you have that, you know, like you can exploit that in a good way by bringing people towards and pushing people away in a kind, ethical, loving way to help them get to the place that they need to be and find the right person for them.
Mm-hmm. So that piece, right? You talked about two things. First, your own lived experience and the trauma and like things that you've gone through, and then also your training as a corporate person. How important is those types of experiences to actually become a coach versus like a 20-year-old says, okay, I want to coach people?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and listen, I think that's great if you're a 20-year-old and want to do it, but the executive experience in working for billion-dollar companies and being responsible for delivering outcomes in a national and previous international organization, working with some of the finest leaders in the respective industry, taught me a lot. Like, taught me a lot about change, everything I mentioned before. And where this idea even got planted that I could help people is when I was hospitalized. I'm sitting in the room and it was a complete waste of my time. Why did I do this? Listen, I needed it. Like, this is just me being an addict. Like, what am I doing here? This is such a waste of time. I'm sitting in meetings. I could do meetings for free. I spent all this money. But there was one thing I'll never forget. The guy who's leading the group says, has anyone here ever heard of risk management? I'm like, I choke. I start laughing. I manage risk for $1 billion company. Like, I knew how to prevent bad things from happening. I knew standard operating procedures, protocols, trainings, metrics, deliverables, everything I just said before. Like, I knew all that. I knew risk equals frequency times severity. Like, I had all the formulas, I had all the tools, I had all the frameworks. And it was in that moment that I realized that all that leadership training and systems training were incredibly useful for me as a person trying to get my shit together. And that's when the mindful habit was born, literally in that moment. So yeah, I think it's very, very, you have a skill set that maybe someone who hasn't been far along in their career understand, because as a leader, you've got to deliver results in a complicated, multifaceted organizations with competing priorities, lots of variables. And it's like a human, right? We have competing parts of ourselves, the part that says do it, the part that says don't do it, the part that judges you. So there's a lot of overlap. And so I think that executive experience for me helps me be, you know, a tremendous coach because of it.
And it's like the skill sets, right? It's you skill stack in a way,
Skill stack. Exactly.
right?
Yes.
Like experience stacking, skill stacking, and then your whole therapy place where you found out everything that you were doing. I really love that you say your main focus is delivery, and that's why coaches in a way cannot do all the coaching business alone.
No.
Like, you're trying to compare traditional education, which is like a big establishment, thousands of employees, millions and billions of dollars getting invested, and you're trying to create an alternate education just by yourself. or a VA.
Yeah. Yeah. I could not do it without the different people that helped us over the years, and as soon as a coach gets enough, they start generating some income, you've got to invest it in the business, and you got to find the right person, find someone like you or someone else who knows what they're doing, who can take that off your plate so you can do what you love to do. At least that's how I want it. That's how listen, I am moving towards a life where I do more of what I want to do and less of what I don't. And I need people in my life to do that.
How has your journey been? Because of course there's people that you've liked to work with and people you've not. So how do you filter through people that are going to support your mission?
Yeah. On the client side, it's the 30-day money return policy. Like we really lean into that and have honest, frank conversations about whether or not this is bringing high value. Regarding the vendors that support us, we do our due diligence before we hire everybody. We've learned to, talk to former clients, talk to clients, just like, testimonials, read the contracts, but find people who are established in their industry. And we're blessed that we're in a place to be able to, people who've got a track record of helping people. And that's been what's just really, and we've gotten it wrong. We've gotten it wrong. The fact that I'm a great coach does not mean that I'm a great businessman. And I made many terrible business decisions over the years, throwing good money after bad because I was living in fear. I was afraid to make a change, for example. So Google died for us as a lead source. And I spent years trying to fix it, instead of building a referable business and building that goodwill and connecting with people. So people, when they think, non-traditional addiction solution, they think me.
Mm-hmm.
So I've made many, many mistakes over the years. And it's why it's so important to have a mentor. Like I'm in a mastermind. And that's how I met you, through a mastermind friend who knew Eric, who, brought me to Eric's house on that wonderful day. But yeah, having a mentor, someone who's done what you've done, is tremendously valuable. If you can find that place, do it, because it'll just save you so much time and money.
Mm-hmm. And it's this initial also fear, right? It's you start making money, but it's like you get scared, and at the same time you know that if you invest it in the mentor, which is probably a bit more pricey, a bit more out of your range, but it's actually gonna give you perspective because they are seeing the whole world through a different lens.
Yes. Yeah. A phrase that I love, and I say it to myself often: you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know how other people are building their offers. You don't know how they're fulfilling. You don't know if what you're doing is too much or too little. You don't know if you're packaging it in the right way. You don't know, listen. Okay, I did this for like 10 years before I knew what lifetime customer value was. I'm a sophisticated man. I understand business, but I have blocks around the finances. I let it all go, and I didn't pay attention to the numbers. And so even learning, like, hey, it's important for you as a business owner to keep that client, not in a malicious, trickery, chicanery way, but by providing value. Oh shit! I didn't think about that. And it was, there were so many things like that mistakes that we would have avoided if we had someone in our corner giving us advice, and we didn't for a long time. We just didn't, because our leads came from Google Ads. We had someone handle our Google Ads, and we thought that person was like our chief marketing officer. No, they handled Google Ads. Like looking back, it's a little embarrassing, but I like sharing my failures so other people can learn. As soon as we got someone who knew what they were talking about, it was like, hey, Craig, you know you would have made this decision a year and 7 months ago if you had someone on the numbers, if you were on the numbers. And I went, oh, shit. That's a shitload of money I wasted in time and effort. So anyway, I like sharing my failures so other people don't make them. Surround yourself with people who've done what you are trying to do.
And there's this stigma, right, of in the coaching space and probably in every other competition, in competitive space, that you have to do it alone and you don't have to reveal the secrets with other coaches because they're going to steal your clients. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I say, first off, and trust but verify, the single greatest predictor of results is not your modality. It is not your modality. It is the connection that you have with the person seeking help. So already we know the modality. Listen, I got the best modality. It's supported by neuroscience. It's the latest and cutting edge of behavior modification. There's 10 other ones out there that are the latest and greatest and cutting edge in behavior modification, right? I'm not saying that mine's not great. I'm proud of it. I've been around for 14 years. My workbook's been translated into 3 languages. So I got something special. No, share, right? I have never, listen, if someone, and what is proprietary? Is it mine? No, I learned from other people. Like a guitar, right? I learned this riff from this band, and I kind of made it my own, and now I call it the Craig Perra song. I build on what other people have taught me. I build on other life experiences, and the more I share that, the better I become. That's all. The better coach I become because I get more feedback. I'm able to articulate it better. I used to be that way. Mm-hmm. How can I intellectually protect my modality? I went to the lawyer and everything. I've got to protect it because all the sleuths they just can't wait to get their hands on my workbook. No, it has never happened. It's fear-based thinking. No one cares.
And no one even sees it yet, right? Even if you were like screaming to the top of your lungs, like, this is all my framework, this is everything, have it all. Like Elon Musk made available the Tesla models. I don't think anyone from like maybe 1% of the world has actually seen those.
Right.
And they're available.
And you got to put your best self out there. It's like, I don't want to wear my nice clothes because I don't want to get them dirty. When you're creating content, if I'm not telling people exactly what my system is, what it's founded on, how we use it, what it's going to do for you, I ain't giving them shit. So you have to put yourself out there, and you give your best content, the clients will come. That's how took me a long time to learn that. Because I like I said, I went to a lawyer to protect it, and to protect it like it's Coca-Cola, like it was the Coca-Cola secret formula. Come on, man. We're talking behavior.
Oh my God. That's great. What's been your latest best investment for your coaching business?
Yeah, the latest best investment has been in my time podcasting and creating content. I had never gotten into a consistent habit doing that. I never felt comfortable doing that. I'd get resentful at the people out there who just sounded so fucking natural. It used to piss me off to no end until someone said to me, pretend you're talking to a friend. I said, oh, well, I can do that. And so I've been recording videos every day, and that has been really, really helpful. So right now, that's what I'll say. A month from now, it might be something else, but right now, that's what I'm really feeling the most value in. Oh, and speaking. Public speaking.
Love it. It's a different skill set as well, right? Because you're speaking to like a group of people versus talking to two
Correct.
friends, right?
Yeah.
And how can people bring you on podcasts? Like, what's the best way to have you on podcasts?
Sure, they can go to my website, Mindful Habit Mastery. There's a number at the top. They can call that number, leave a message, and me or someone on my team will get back to them. They can email me at craig@mindfulhabitmastery.com. And I love being on podcasts. I have a lot of fun doing it, as you can tell. And
Yeah, you're the most liveliest guest so far.
it's a great way to share the message, and a great way to help people too, for the people who can't afford it. It's nice giving, and there's not a question you could ask me like, oh, I can't talk about that, that's proprietary. No. No, that's silly.
Yeah, love it, man. And now tell me again a bit about your program. Like, who do you help? What's the process? What are the deliverables?
Sure. So I help executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals, engineers, lawyers, doctors, professional athletes, professional coaches. My client avatar is someone struggling with a bad habit, poor coping strategy, or an addiction. Right. Those are the clients that I serve best, and the addiction doesn't matter. The only factor is that they have to be functioning. So let's say someone can't get out of bed and they're experiencing DTs from alcohol withdrawal. That person is not going to do well in a coaching program. They have to be able to do the work. You know what I mean by that?
Hmm.
Like if they that, and that's another reason for that 30 days, because sometimes I'm working with someone like, you got to get help locally. You need an intensive outpatient, you need a doctor, you maybe even possibly an inpatient sometimes, because addiction can be sticky. You know what I mean? If you can't do the work, you're not right for coaching. So yeah, I don't know. Did I answer your question?
What is the deliverable and how
Hmm.
long?
So it is a 6-month one-on-one program. We meet 2 times a week in the beginning, plus between session support. I used to do it for 3 months, and then I'd get people into my group, but I found that my successful clients did way better when we had a 6-month engagement, and that also increased the chances that they would join either my community or a local community. Because listen, without that community, it all goes to pot. It does every time. Like, and I tell them, I'm not like the lawyer in me. I want to make them sign something when they leave. Just so you know, I want you to know. I told you, because when you have that community, you've got purpose, because you're surrounding by people with a shared purpose. You've got accountability. You've got vulnerability, like all the attributes of long-term success. So 6-week program. Then I have a mastermind after that. And sometimes some people choose to join my mastermind instead of one-on-one. That's 1-year program. We have 2 retreats baked into that. The ticket price for those are included. I love doing in-person retreats. But yeah, those are the 2 main programs that I'm working on
When
right
is the
now.
next one?
The next retreat is going to be in, let's see, we are in November.
Okay.
November. We're putting all the pieces of that together. That's going to be somewhere in the Sacramento area.
Amazing. Awesome. Craig, it's been amazing talking to you. I'm so excited to share this to the world. Any last message you could share to maybe someone that is struggling with addiction or a bad habit? Like, what could you share as medicine or like as a bump
Yeah.
for them to take action?
What I want to say to the people watching is that if you are struggling with an addiction, it's your body's way of telling you that you're hurting. And the worse the addiction is, the more pain you are. So yes, treat the symptoms, that's important, but make sure whatever you do, address those deeper underlying issues that make it so hard for you to sit in discomfort, to sit with the inevitable pain that comes with being a human, because you can do it. If I did it, you can do it. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, man, for your work, your energy, and for more people to not go for the quick fix, but for the deeper fix.
The deeper fix. Yes, sir. You are welcome. Privileged to be here, man.
All right.